Hey, everybody, and welcome into Casual Relief, Adore Disc Golf Podcast. My name is Ben, joined as always with Matt and Michael. How you fellas doing tonight?
Wonderful. Just had some Taco Bell for dinner, and I'm feeling as good as ever.
No free ads.
Okay, fine. I'm just telling you what I had for dinner. I'm sorry.
I also had that same fast food brand today. So
is this just going to be a common theme? Like, you guys just update us on like what we're having for dinner? Because
I like food. You like food. We all like food. I hope we all like food.
Except I don't have an amazing joke this week for it. Sorry.
Take that back.
Sometimes I question why I associate with you guys, because most of the time how you doing is just like a rhetorical, like, oh, I'm doing really good, or
just obligatory,
having a good time.
I'm not that kind of guy. We're not those type of guys.
You're not that guy,
not
pal.
That guy.
Anyway, this is Casual Relief, where we just talk about random improper nonsense, and if you agree with us, drop a comment. If you don't, drop a comment, because chances are someone's wrong. But we're also not afraid to let anybody in this podcast know that each other are wrong. Toward going through tonight, we are going to build our Dream 18. First, we're going to have a little tournament etiquette conversation, and then as always we'll wrap the show up with buy or sell. But first, just a couple of little updates on a couple of the polls being run on our Spotify. It ended as a deadlock 50-50 in the question of should rangefinders be allowed in tournament play. The answer is still no. So if you voted for yes, I am sorry. But the three of us as a tribunal of your peers have voted that the answer is no. But then looking at our poll from the last episode, who has the best starter pack? Matt leading the way with 50% of the vote. I am at 33%, and Michael is in dead last. So if you want to know what we picked, be sure to head over to the last episode, and you'll be able to hear our starter pack picks. And then you can vote for yourself. The poll will end. The polls always end a week after the episode airs, so that's just kind of our update on where we're at. So when this comes out, you will have 12 hours left to vote on the previous poll. So just a brief update on the
Vote
polls.
for Michael.
I mean,
Go
soft
for
magnet,
whoever
bro.
you want with. Yeah, somehow Matt's winning with a soft magnet, which is like the most bizarre thing to me. But hey, apparently 50% of the listeners like soft magnets. Hey,
I said it last week.
again.
Magnets, chains, metal, together, perfect harmony.
Sure. Sure.
In whatever fantasy world you live in.
Science.
Okay. So we'll open the show just kind of talking about some tournament etiquette and just kind of some things that we've seen and what maybe you should or shouldn't do as tournaments in the Midwest, especially up here in Wisconsin, are starting to begin. One of the things that I had heard that had happened is somebody asked a tournament director if they could join a wait list for free because they didn't have any funds rolling. That to me is kind of just like a red flag, and also just kind of weird. Like, I understand like that you would have like this individual is probably thinking like, oh, I'll just pay if I get in, but like waitlists, like you got to pay to get on them, whether that's like a small fee or like you're paying the entry fee. Like, in my opinion, if you're running a tournament, you should just have your waitlist fee just be the tournament fee, because it's one less step you need to do later of collecting more money. But
yeah, and you can always refund that afterwards too. Like, it doesn't. I don't know how disc golf scene would make any money if they didn't charge people the fees to be on a wait list, though. So,
yeah, I just. It's just one of those things where it's just like a little like I don't know what I want to say. Like, I understand that this guy probably just was like, can you just throw me on the wait list? But like, you also had to probably find the tournament director's contact info on Disc Golf Scene, and it's right there. And it just says, hey, you got to register. But I digress. about that. What's just some like your top do's and don'ts of like being a good tournament participant?
Yeah,
as you go
I'll
through
jump in
the
right
year?
away. It's negative self-talk. Like, yeah, for, if I make a mistake on the course, I'm going, Michael, you, and like, not curse myself, but really just be like, silly boy. And I'll do the negative self-talk, but in a very like jovial, silly way. And then just forget about it, 2 seconds later. But if you just continually harp on yourself, calling yourself names, and saying it loud enough for other people to hear, like, oh, brother, that is not the way to go. Negative self-talk.
I'm the most self-deprecating person on the disc golf course, but I also do it in a very jovial way where I just like move on. I like there's been times where I've just turned around and like after throwing a bad shot and I just do one of these like shrug to the rest of the card and I'm like, oh, that sucked.
It wasn't me. Who's controlling this hand?
It was you. You just don't want to admit it was you.
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
it's not me. That's the disc.
Mine is the same, but even on the other side, where you just talk too much and you're just like annoying and like all over somebody like all the time.
Who does that?
And I really enjoy people who are like you want to talk in the card and your whole card talks together. But I've played with a few people that like, and it tends to be they're like younger, like you're younger, maybe under 18 that like are in maybe divisions that aren't junior that are, maybe their first tournaments and stuff like that, they attach to your hip and they're just kind of there the whole time. And especially if you're having a bad round, it's like, bro, you're a really cool dude, but
no,
go away.
Did this happen in October?
It happened in October.
I'm interested to hear more, but we're not in the business of like outing anybody or yeah. I want to know more about that story, but like I said, on this show, we're not in the business of outing anybody or throwing anybody under the bus. Yeah. So I'll ask about that.
You got to pay for that on Patreon.
Oh yeah, you could.
There you go to get that story. I am a firm believer, and I say this, and this is something I try and live by on the disc golf course. Don't be a card cancer, one way or the other. So don't be like that guy, like if you're shooting hot, being like a total D-bag about shooting hot. Don't be super low on yourself and just like not talking to anybody if you're not throwing well. Like I understand, like, you're allowed to have like that kind of level of like quote unquote professionalism or competitiveness, right? Like you want to be in the zone and doing what you can, but just don't be that cancer on the card. I've been on the receiving end of a couple of them, including a guy I played with once who two or three putted on a really, really short and easy course or hole and tacoed his Luna in front of everybody. And that was just kind of like a mood killer. But yeah, that's just kind of what I live by. Is there anything else that you guys are just kind of like, maybe not so much like personally, but just like other behaviors or anything that you think just kind of kill things or good?
I would
good
say,
to know, or good to do.
Not that this has happened to me or Matt at any given time on a regular basis. When someone offers you food, you should probably just be a good human being and accept the food that is offered to you because, someone paid money for that food and is offering you out of the goodness of their heart. And they just want to share a nice salty treat. Salty and sweet.
Kiss and tell. If this is about him, we're airing this out now. I want to hear this story.
It is tradition that every single round, Michael offers me like trail mix, like nutty like trail mix, full well knowing that I hate like nuts or peanuts or anything like that. And like it was funny the first couple times. And now he just looks at me really funny on the course, and I just scream no at him. Like I just know it's coming.
I go to the zipper, and I'm just like, you know what's coming, Matt.
That's called a bit, and I think it's hilarious.
It's really funny the 700th time. But yeah,
So I would just
No,
say, like,
it's-
when someone offers you some food, you should probably just take it.
even if you hate it, guys, even if you
hate
don't like it, you should take it, and then when they turned away, spit it out.
Smart. It's like that's the cordial.
Matt, do
Life
you have
life
anything?
lessons from Casual Relief.
Do you have anything? And then I'll give my kind of like two cents.
No,
on this.
I mean, I could say the opposite of what Michael just said. That could be the end of it.
Offer people food.
Don't offer people food on the course.
Fair. On a serious note, I would say to be a good competitor in a tournament, show up and check in early. Make sure you know where your hole is. If you have, especially if you haven't played the course or you haven't played in a while, or there's alternate setups, know where you're going. Make sure you're on your hole early, so that way you can, duke it out with who's going to do live scoring. Just be early and be courteous, and just make sure that you have all the things that the tournament director has done for you, or that you do all of them that they've asked you to do. I have seen it a couple times. Live scoring's not that big of a deal. Everybody's got their phone. Don't make it a bigger deal than it needs to. Just my advice.
I just thought of
Just
one.
be cool.
How do you guys feel about people like around you in your line of sight when you're putting?
I don't care. Like, unless you're doing something so incredibly like out of pocket that like you're drawing attention to yourself, then yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna get in the zone the way I get in the zone. I'm gonna focus where I need to focus, and I'm gonna putt when I'm ready to putt. If something else changes, I don't care. That's the environment. I can't control everything when I'm playing disc golf.
If they're like at a decent enough distance, like away from me, then that's fine. But like if I fully like could like feel their presence, then like maybe they're a little close. But like they're not gonna bother me if they're like on circle's edge, like around and in my view. Like that's not
Fair.
gonna bother me. And I'm also not allowed to say anything because I have such bad self-awareness of where I am on the course that I always end up unintentionally in someone's line of sight. So
Yeah, I just feel like it's one of those like crutches where like people miss putts and they're like,
something happened. Yeah.
oh, well, you were in my line of sight, or oh, you like back up, like you're going to affect me. Like, you're not missing the putt because you can see someone in your peripherals. You're missing the putt because you're bad at putting. Like,
it's just like when people rip a bad shot and it's like early release, bad angle, and then they just like immediately look at their hand and I'm like, like what? Like you like you early released, you late released, you grip locked. Like this is on you. Like there's no like.
we talked about that like separately, like off air, and I've been starting to play pickleball every week now, and I do that same exact thing, except I look at the pad. I look at the paddle, and I'm just like, hey, is there a hole in my paddle? Like, and there clearly isn't, but that just reminded me of that.
Thanks for the invite.
Pickleball's fun, by the way.
Yeah, TFTI.
Yeah.
I thought
Guess we're not cool enough,
we
Michael.
should,
Do you want to start a separate pickleball group?
Like that.
Okay. Well,
fun.
enough of our personal lives. Let's move into
This show is getting really deep.
Yeah, we're going off the rails, but that's okay. We record on Friday. It's been a long week. We're blowing off some steam with some absolute nonsense. But we'll move into our main segment tonight. We are building our Dream 18, and we might have played these holes. We might not have played these holes. At least some of my picks, you've definitely probably seen if you've watched any coverage. But we didn't. The rules, at least the way that I interpreted them, is that we didn't have to pick like a specific number. We were just picking our top 8 just as backup in case we were duplicates, and then we also picked our dishonorable mentions. So we're gonna each kind of go around. We'll each go one at a time, and we'll pick our holes. We'll talk about a hole, and then the next person will go. So we'll kind of go from there, and then I will leave this to Michael to write these down, or the ones that get picked, and then we will pick and choose our 18. He's ready to go. Like Steve from Blue's Clues, handy dandy notebook. All right. Matthew, what do you got? Start us off. What's your
Start us
off
hot, dude.
what is
I'm
one
gonna
hole?
I'm gonna start us off with my favorite hole in disc golf, and it's ironic that I'm going first because this one is a hole 18, and it is hole 18 at Fox Run Meadows. I really like the hole. I just love the GMC courses in general. I said it on the last podcast that like every time I feel like they go up there, it's kind of like a Worlds, and it's such a great atmosphere. Just watched the coverage again from the 2022 GMC, which confirmed Ricky did win, but definitely not as big a margin as I thought. It's way closer than I thought it was, but just a great hole 18. Really makes you think about a hole. You can try to crush it long, but you bring OB into play. And the upshot isn't the easiest thing in the world, too. If you cook that long, you're probably going OB long. Just a great hole, great finishing hole, just in general.
You got stats on that? Is it on par and distance? If not, it's totally cool.
Oh,
Just
I'm sorry.
curious.
It is a 775-foot par 4.
Whew.
Right on. It's a good. I'll just kind of chime in. I think it is a great finishing hole, especially when you look at TCAM when you're watching coverage and you see the mountain range
So
behind.
good.
Yeah,
So
definitely,
scenic.
definitely a good hole. I
There's
love
so
a par
many-
4 finishing hole
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah. My big thing is I love par 4 starting holes and I love par 4 finishing
Agreed.
holes. And what really makes a course to me is the scenery around it. I mean, I could have picked so many courses, specifically one of them, like Skyline in the Napa Valley area in California that I've played. I could have picked pretty much all 18 of those because of the scenery it plays in. But just love holes like that in general.
Perfect. All right, Ben, hit us. Ooh,
Michael.
Okay, I'll go for it. Hole 5 at Clover Cliff Ranch Park in Emporia, Kansas, is a 604-foot par 4. Granted, I don't think many people have played this. It's an EMAC designed course, and
Well, to be fair, all of
yeah,
Emporia
it's
is.
about right. But it legit looks like you're in Scotland. Rocks everywhere. Have to be really careful of how you throw your disc. It's also a cattle ranch, so you have to be careful of some cow pies out there. But you tee off from an elevated area down into a valley, and then you probably have every bit of 500 feet until a river that creates a peninsula green, and you have to throw that shot safe to get on the peninsula to finish for the par 4. So fun. When I played it, it was a ripping headwind, and I threw a Nate Sexton Firebird, and it looked like a T-bird.
Wind in Emporia?
No, that doesn't happen.
Wow.
But yeah, absolutely bucket list course. Same thing with Matt. I could probably place every single hole on that list and have the best time. So, yeah.
I haven't seen it, haven't played it, so I don't have anything to add. But based on what you're saying, Emporia sounds like a fever dream and something I want to participate in. So we'll be sure to add that to my list.
All right, hit us with it, dude.
All right, iconic par 3, 220 feet, Maple Hill hole 8. It's just
Hot
like
take.
there's
hot
not
take.
much.
I don't like it.
Really?
I don't like the atmosphere of the 8 holes. I think it's kind of out of place. Like
We're
you're
not
trying
going-
to like run a. I know what you mean, but
We're going for the hole itself, not the 8 holes. Or
fair
like
enough.
the
If you take that out,
atmosphere.
you take that out. It's a good
Water
hole.
carry.
That was not part of the
Water
rules.
carry.
It's got a
legit
water
ace
carry, and it's a
run.
short
Yeah.
water carry. The drop zone is also like an appropriate drop zone.
I do
Like, there's
love
some
the drop
dumb
zone.
drop zones. Like I know you don't like the 8 holes, but the 8 hole the whole 8 Hall of Fame is hilarious, and I love it. That you sign the board if you hit the drop zone putt.
So good.
All right, we're gonna clip this. Matt hates fun.
I mean, I'm the bad guy on the podcast.
Matt hates having a good
I claimed
time.
it week 1. I'll claim it now. So
All right. Back to you, sir.
my going off the theme of island holes, My second hole is Hornet's Nest Hole 2. And I actually prefer the FPO at 267 feet more than the men's 330 foot. They're both par threes.
So you have played this?
I have, and I have played this personally.
Have you played both the FPO and the MPO tees?
No, we played, and actually, it stinks because when I went to go play, I didn't play the actual island hole. So I played something similar. I've played from the tee, but not the basket. So it's only set up in tournament times in the island position. I
just had to remember what this one was. Okay, yes, now makes sense. Yeah.
But great hole. I think it's a great island hole. Plus the trees that kind of like force you to play an accurate shot rather than just a dinky hyzer onto an island. And I think that the drop zone it's definitely a punishing drop zone if you don't hit the island. So I'm not a huge fan of the NPOT only because I think it brings like a weird Mando into play, and like Mando / island. I mean, it's probably a great Pro Tour hole, but I'm thinking myself playing it. I don't really like the aesthetic of like where. No, surprisingly not.
It just does real quick, just to interject. It does bring up a good point though. Like just like when Simon says like he doesn't play like Maple Hill like golds or the diamonds for fun. Like, yeah, just a great point right there. Like tees, just because you can play the tees doesn't mean you should. Not because you can't handle them, but they're just probably less fun. And everyone likes birdies.
What was the footage on that again, dog?
The FPOT 267.
Awesome.
267.
Love it. All right, Ben.
I think it's you.
Island
Doug.
in a row. I'll just go.
Matter.
We'll keep the island train going. Winthrop Arena, USDGC, hole 17, par 3, 249. My notes and my comments, islands are fun, and this is iconic with the hay bales.
Islands are fun if you hit them.
But just when islands are hit, or when islands are done well, they're fun. Yeah. Like when the islands are too tight, or like you have to really shot shape, and like it's not just like throw it, then that's not fun.
I have lost two. I played that course and lost 2 discs on that hole.
You went long?
It was a good time. Yeah.
Dang.
Nice.
Okay.
Anything to add,
I
Michael?
got nothing to add. I got nothing.
Just like, I mean, notes were right there. Notes were simple.
There.
It's iconic. And
Everyone's seen it. All right. My second pick is hole 26 at Silver Creek. Most of you all have seen it as the lighthouse hole. It is a 439-foot par 4. Could be considered a par 3, just because if you're playing it, you could get it in 2. But it's a fun par 4. Takes you right out to Lake Michigan. Yeah, it's a par 4.
That's a 4?
It is a par 4.
Okay. That's a par 3. If I'm getting up and down in 3.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of those
like
tweener
holes for sure. But I think for like a Pro Tour event, I would probably put it as a 3.
Pro Tour event, it's a 3.
100%.
Yeah, for just fun recreational play, it's a par 4. Could even maybe be a par 5. But it takes you right out to Lake Michigan. Iconic hole.
Might be able to see a glitch.
Might
be able to see a glitch if you're
surrounded by one of yours truly.
Goodness!
I don't need to say anymore.
This is the Kiss and Tell show, I suppose.
Just we got to time out and tell this story quick. I'm gonna let Matt tell the story about something that happened shortly after or before. I don't remember if it was before or after this.
Before,
right? Okay, so right before this hole.
Yeah, it's about precisely 2.5 holes before this hole. That I had a love-hate relationship with the MVP glitch. Big Sonic fan, love the Sonic, and tried so hard to make like an all MVP bag. I got so frustrated with the disc that I, as the kids would say, yeeted it into Lake Michigan. And it was the best throw I've ever had with it in my entire life, and I will never see it again.
Oh, it was fun.
That was a good day.
That was the first day I met Michael, or not Michael, Ben. First day I met Ben.
First day you met him? It was the
Yeah,
first day you
was.
played around with him.
Oh, I suppose you're right. You're correct.
Awesome.
That's where you really meet
It
people,
is.
though.
Yeah,
is
you
during
really
round.
get to know someone on the course.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, give us your next one.
All right. Not quite an island, but close enough as an island for me. USDGC Hole 5. 1,025-foot par 5 with a Mando that forces you to throw over like the lake/pond that's
Twice.
there. Twice, yeah. So it's it's a great. I think it's a great hole. I love par 4, par 5s. And when I played that, also lost a disc there. I lost a lot of discs when I played that course.
Whoops.
But lost a nice dyed wave that I threw for the first time, doing my upshot into the basket. But the pros make that look so easy, and it's just such a fun hole to play.
Yeah, Owen Scoggins skips it off the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of really cool highlights. I feel like
yeah.
Kevin. I think Kevin Jones had an eagle on that hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then he cartwheeled.
Yeah. Gotta love the KJ USA cartwheels, man.
All right, good, Ben. Yeah.
Me? All right. This is the only hole on my list that I have actually played. It is Idlewild Hole 4. It plays as a 4 for the men, a 5 for the women. It is 722 feet. So you throw over the pond as a water carry, and then you go out into a landing, and then you have a really tight tunnel through the woods that you cross the river, and then it opens back up, and then the basket's kind of at the top of a hill. So you really have to in preparation for this, I watched a little bit of coverage from last year's Idlewild for it. And you really have two kind of choices because the gap is not really easy to hit. You can either lay up take the 4 by throwing a mid-range over the pond, or you can kind of pipe it a little bit and really try and attack by throwing like a fairway, but you can really get into the sticks and into the rough down over by kind of the opening. So I really love holes that make you think about disc selection. So that was one of that's why it's on my list. I played this and I took a 5.
Happy
and
with
I was
it.
very happy with it. Because it is long and there's elevation change, and I played it safe, and I threw a fairway driver, and I'm obviously not a pro player, so I got some good distance on it. But then I ended up hitting a tree, and it was really short. So then I had to lay up and then pipe it, and just very happy with it. But super fun hole to play. But yeah, that's why it's on my list. Just makes you think. Got some good water carry.
All right. Another hole that probably not a lot of people have played, but it is hole 2 at the Green Gauntlet at Palmetto Point. It's a course in Florida, just north of Orlando. This is a course I played for Worlds in 2021. Incredible par 4, 543 feet with probably a 15 to 20 foot wide fairway. Big trees. Looks like you're in a jungle the entire hole. And just a fun, once again, another elevated tee, and you're shooting down into the palmettos. Super, super fun course. Super fun hole. Any questions about it? No.
Never, another one I've never heard of. So you're like 2 for 3 on holes we've never heard of. Congrats.
Yeah, we're getting a good mix here. This is good.
I was going to go more mainstream for my next one, but I am going to go with another last hole, another finishing hole, except it's hole, in the past it was referred to hole 27. I believe it's now hole 29 at Sandy Point in Lac du Flambeau, Wisconsin.
Ooh.
It's a 337-foot par 3. Essentially, it's a big old hyzer bomb to a super tiny peninsula green. There's a little bailout shot that I always take. That's like a 200 or 300 foot hyzer shot, and then out of bounds. I mean, on the whole right side is a gigantic lake, like that. If you go out of bounds, your drop
is
zone
the lap.
Is the lap of Lambo.
Yeah, it is the lap. But your drop zone, if you go out of bounds, is the end of a dock that shoots to the pier, and it's a fantastic. I think it's a fantastic finishing hole. Absolutely punishing in a headwind. And the upshot is super critical because it's what, Michael? It can't be any more than 5 feet, 5 to 7 feet wide as you get closer to the basket. And it really tests your mental strength and fortitude on your putting because you need to be confident as you hit that putt on the peninsula.
So fun.
Sandy Point has just such a great place in my heart. Like, I love that course. It can confirm as well. It was the #1 course in Wisconsin.
Thanks for doing that research
when those
week,
stats
dude.
came out. Hey, I'm on the research, man. I'm on
Someone's
it.
got to do it.
Yeah. As you noticed, I fact-checked myself, only myself, and I was right both times. So
Sounds fun.
You're welcome.
All right, Ben, hit us with it.
Hole 3 at Toboggan, Deglow.
Yeah.
It places a 4 and a 5. It's 912 feet. I liked it. I picked it because it's a lot of people's favorites. Because it curves a little bit, different shot shapes, but it's downhill. You got some rough on both sides, so you got to really kind of place your shot. Makes it a little bit tougher unless you're a top pro, and some pros have flashed chains for an eagle.
That's the one that goes downhill and then is up on that like little elevated spot. Okay,
yep. So it goes down. It goes downhill and curves to the right, and then comes up a little bit, and it's wide open. If you
it's got that like wide circle, like long grass in the kind of in the middle, isn't it, on the corner? Yeah.
Yep. This is the one where when Paul shot his perfect round, he almost went 19 down because he hit chains for his eagle. And then this is also the hole where Yuli was doing GK Pro Skins, I believe, and let a kid throw for his shot, like a 5-year-old kid. Man of the people.
I remember that.
He is a man of the people.
But yeah, just a variety of shots. You got to hit gaps because it is pretty tight up by the tee that it's in the woods, and you got to throw it down and kind of get it out in the open. So
love that. Mine is hole 3, another hole that we all three have played. Maybe not so many people played, but hole 3, black to black at Roland Ridge Disc Golf Course in Brillion, Wisconsin. It is a 1,005-foot par 5. You once again tee off from an elevated surface, and then you play the ridges, as Roland Ridge is so aptly known. But it's OB all down the right side, and it's really fun just because you have to be very pinpoint on your angles, especially your nose angles, because when you're throwing up that hill and then back down that hill, you have to be really careful. Otherwise, you could burn the disc over or saw it off. Hit it early into the...
I've never birdied it.
I birdied it once.
I would be happy with a par on that all day. So I'm going to go, I think the theme of all of these is elevated or downhill shots. So I'll just continue the trend. I chose hole 17 at Bryant Lake in the Minneapolis area. Amazing. It's a 549-foot par 4 where you tee off from this super high elevated mountain/hill, and you're shooting down to like over a road, and you're shooting into kind of a basket is kind of on top of like a platform or a hill up there. It's super hard to explain, but it's a beautiful shot. You feel like you get a good rip on it, and it's just the most amazing feeling. I mean, if you don't feel like you can throw 500 feet, go throw off, the top of a hill, and you can do it. But no, it was such a great tee shot. Like one of our mutual friends, and myself went to go play a bunch of courses in Minnesota, and this is one of them, and it was just the hole that we could not stop talking about. So Bryant Lake, great course, and just in general.
Sweet. All right, dog.
All right. Next up on my list, because we all did 8. We should mention that we all did 8 just as backups in case we crossed over, and then we'll narrow it down to 18. But my next up was Glendoveer. Was the course at the Portland Open, and it's hole 8. It's a par 4 at 615 feet, but it's downhill. And it's one of the softest par 4s and one of the easiest holes on the Pro Tour. But I partly picked it because of that, because getting a nice feel-good 3 is always good for the pros. But also just when you look at it, it's just another one of those really just aesthetically pleasing holes, because there's timbers in the middle of it where you kind of throw it through and around. But then also as it opens up, because this is on a ball golf course, more timbers and like the cascades are in the distance. So it's just a really aesthetically pleasing looking hole in the Pacific Northwest mist.
Just a side point, has anybody picked, has anybody said one that we've had on our list already, or we all had just different holes?
We've all had different holes.
Hole 27 at Sandy Point was one of my reserves, one of my backups.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I think that just proves to the point where we all have different favorite holes, and everybody has their own taste of disc golf.
My next one is Top of the World at De La, which is hole 27. No disc golf course
Iconic.
is not because not every course has a top of the world shot, but there's something you got to have the hole on the course where you can empty your bag. Like, not satisfied with it, I'm just gonna chuck. And so top of the world. I don't have specific distances.
It's okay. We'll use this time to talk about how Yuli hit the same guy twice, and he hit the same guy for the second time on the top of the world hole.
But it is a par 3.
It is a par 3. But that's also because you throw it with absolutely no power, and it goes a mile.
Again, if you feel like you don't throw far, throw from the top of the hill.
Yep.
That's really what it is.
Yes, it is.
My final hole is actually a newer hole 1, but it is hole 1 on the Blueberry course at Highbridge Hills in Highbridge, Wisconsin. So for those of you who have been around in disc golf for a while, Highbridge has been around for quite some time, under new ownership now, and the course is running better as ever. And it's a fantastic, fantastic complex. But hole 1 is essentially just a hyzer shot onto onto an elevated green with rocks piled up all around it, and really is. I have a couple of videos on my Instagram of that shot, and it's one of my favorite shots. Just in disc golf in general. And again, the complex is really great. If you ever have a chance to go up there, Michael, you got to get up there.
Tell me about it.
No, and you're not bringing any of us because you hate us. So
we're not
bringing you.
I have played Highbridge, and I've played all the courses, and Blueberry is by far my favorite, because I think it provides the most diversity, and it's just kind of a little bit of everything. There are courses up there that are soul crushing. There are courses up there that are, fun and you can ace run things, but Blueberry is just kind of perfect to me.
I think the new Granite long to long would be a great pro course. I would love to see the pros play that course.
Me too, dude. Me too.
You don't even know, and you don't care to bring any of your friends with you. So,
and par on that one again.
It is 373 feet and is a par 3.
All right, Ben.
All right, I have 3 left because I did my backups. So the next one I have is Pickard Park for the Desmonez Challenge, and it's hole 7, which is a par 3, 345, but it's a really nice manicured hole. For the MPO, it plays as an island, but it's not a traditional island in that if you miss it, you play it as hazard. But this has got, it's very similar to our Green Bay area folks with the island of Pinecrest hole 8, in that it's got like the telephone poles that are kind of down and then wood chips are filled in. So it plays just like that as far as like the shape goes, but it's slightly uphill. Most pros can get there, but it's just really just nice manicured hole. And then they've got bleachers and everything behind it just because it's short. And Des Moines really turns out that they've been kind of bringing fans. So that's another kind of element.
Park is a fantastic course in general. Such a fun track. All right, for my last one, another one that probably not that many people have played, but shout out to my Michigan friends. Hole 14 at the Hudson Mills Monster. There's a reason that the course is called the Hudson Mills Monster, because this one is probably one of the hardest holes I've ever played in my life. And it frustrated me so much, I took a Tournament 9, which is an absolutely massive number.
What's a par?
Par 5. At 1,019 feet. It is purely if you could pick a hole to say, like, I'm going to just take a par and I'll be good, it's this one. Do not try and get aggressive. You have to play placement, while also getting good distance, or see you later. Home, get a 9.
I'm going to interject because this is a great jumping off point. We're going to come back. You can go snake style, Matt, for 2. I'm interjecting because my next one up is a great segue for this one. My next one is par 5, 725 feet or 1,050 feet. Northwoods Black, hole 12, Ledgestone Open, hole 12. The hardest hole in disc golf, and the notes I have are the disc golf hole that eats its young.
It does.
I like watching pros come out of there defeated. That's why I picked it on there, or I picked it and put it on there. Anything to say about that?
It seems like a hard hole. I would love to get destroyed by it.
No.
All right. Matt, you go for 2.
I'm sorry. Are we doing? That was our.
Give your.
Are we doing honorable mentions, or are we doing?
Yeah, we're just going through everything on your list.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I picked Tower Ridge, Tower 1 specifically, hole 17, and it's in the short basket position. So what it is, it's a 281 foot par 3,
I love this
and
hole.
you shoot from a platform, or not a platform, but like an elevated tee down to like through kind of like a hill / ravine type thing. Woods on both sides. It's a downhill tunnel shot that you need to stick the green. Otherwise, you're probably going to roll down or get punished. The long pin for me is a little gimmicky. I don't know if either of you have ever played that, but I just remember going there for the first time, and me and someone else were like locked in for the win, and I laced a putter shot right to it and birdied it like for the drop in birdie, and ended up going to win that guy right there.
Wow.
And it was such a memorable hole, and it always feels good to lace that shot for the win.
Yeah. Whew.
I have one more on my list. How many do you have?
I have one more,
Michael?
just because hole 27 at Sandy Point was my reserve.
Okay.
So.
All right, I will go with my last one. I have Black Bear Preserve, so it's the MPO, or it's the Preserve Open Trek, and it is hole 10, It's a par 3. It's 269 and 375. So this is the one where you throw over like the little like river / creek, but it has that kind of rock wall facade that was a former golf green where the basket is now on top of it. So you got to throw uphill. So because you're throwing up, it provides that challenge, but also the basket's on the front half of the green. So you kind of have to figure out or you have to kind of pick your poison. Do you play it safe and go long and then have a tester on the comeback, or do you play it short and then try and run it for the 2 going uphill onto the green? I've seen it played a lot of different ways, and it's either the second or the hardest hole at the preserve because it's just so testy and it's a thinker.
Big time. Wonderful. All right, my last one. Hole 16 at Lake Hiawatha Preserve Champions Point Disc Golf Course. Another one in Florida. Played for the World Championships, the AM World Championships in 2021. First course I stepped foot on and played for my Worlds. So it's got a special place in my heart. But hole 16 is 895-foot par 5 that starts out and then gently curves to the right. And then the green is what makes it super fun because off to the left and off to the right, almost in a peninsula form, is just like some marshy stuff that you don't really want to put your disc into. But then guarding the green are a bunch of willow trees where you have to just like hit a low shot that comes in pretty not soft, but you got to hit it so that it gets there, but also not skipping off and into those marshes. So super fun shot. So yeah.
So how many do we have?
In total, we have 21 holes.
All right, we gotta get rid of 3.
I'm getting rid of my hole 16. It's Lake Hiawatha Preserve Champions Point Disc Golf Course. Getting rid of that one right off the top.
Yeah, my reserve one too, the Tower Ridge. Great meaning to me and special to me, but I mean it's a great hole, but definitely my 7th favorite hole.
All right, so we gotta get rid of one more. Which one are we getting rid of?
One of yours, Ben.
We each
Gosh,
gave up one.
Fine, then I will give up Pickard Park.
Yeah.
I'll give up Pickard Park just because that plays pretty straightforward.
And then what do we want to replace that one with? That one is Northwood Black. Northwood Black.
Wait, I thought you said we had 21.
Yeah, because that was 3. We each give up 3.
Right. So was Northwood's your reserve, Ben?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So then you're taking out Prickard and you're putting in
Northwood.
Yeah.
Northwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there we go. All right. Dishonorable mentions.
I'll start right away. And it's actually on a course that I really enjoy and that I have talked about so much on this podcast already. But it is Fox Run Meadows. I believe it is hole 6. It is 266 feet, par 3. And for the pros, it's just a weird, dinky forehand that feels so.
The one that you got to hit high.
And I don't think.
Yeah,
you got to hit it high, and it's like I was just watching the coverage again last night, and literally, there was only one bogey out of the 39 players who played who got into the cut. There were like 3 pars, and the rest were birdies. If you didn't birdie that hole, you were the black sheep of the entire tournament. And it was just one of those things that. It just feels so out of place on such a beautiful course. Just to have like a dinky hyzer is just really weird to me. So I don't hate the hole. I hate the placement of where it is on the course, I suppose.
All right, Ben. Hit us with one, and then we'll circle back
2.
to your last one after I hit it.
Okay. The first one I have is hole 5, par 3, 476, Eureka Lake Ledgestone. It's the baseball hole.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it because I think throwing over a baseball field is kind of dumb, especially when it's like the fence is there and you clearly see like a foul pole. and also like I don't like the drop zones for
Drop
it.
zone's so
and it's just,
punishing.
like, there's multiple drop zones
Yeah.
on that. Like, I think it's just dumb. Like, I just think it's a dumb hole just because you throw a hyzer, and it's just I just don't think it's a good hole just because one, throwing over a baseball field is dumb, especially at the level of disc golf we're trying to get to when we're throwing over a baseball field.
Yeah, at this point in disc golf, we should be past that. If we're trying to stake our claim and be different than any other sport, playing over other sports fields isn't going to do it for us.
No. Okay. My only dishonorable mention is hole 17 at Silver Creek. For those of you who haven't played it, it is probably the most uphill hole you'll ever play in your life. It is maybe 200 feet max. And the most effective way to get to it is a hard flex on a forehand for a right-handed player. That somehow...
Not true.
Okay, fair.
I threw a backhand turnover and parked
Great
it.
for you. But the amount of rollaways that I have seen occur on that hole is just unreasonable. Enjoy it while you have it.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't pick that one after all the times I absolutely trashed that hole as we walk up to it.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah, 1 of 1. Congrats. 100%.
Great.
Should go play Sunday. We'll see those stats drop.
We'll talk about that off air.
All right.
No one needs to
All
know
right, Ben,
our
what's your number
plans.
2?
Brazos East, Waco, hole 15, 3 and 4, 558. This is an incredibly stupid hole because of all the crap that's on the fairway. I hate the railings. I hate the electrical boxes. Why?
Isn't it like hole 3
why is this...
on the regular course? Hole 15 for the tournament course?
I believe it's hole 4. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
It might be hole 3. I don't know. It's either hole 3 or 4. It's one of those.
Either way, it's the routing's
Not
different
fun,
for the normies, and it's different for the Pro Tour, but still an incredibly dumb hole regardless, because there's electrical boxes, a stupid fence line, and those railings.
Yeah, those railings suck.
Do you think it's better as a par 3 or better as a par 4?
I think it should be a par 0 and just admitted.
Great opinion.
It goes back to my. It goes back to my counter. It goes back to my argument with Eureka. Like, if this is the image we're trying to portray for disc golf. This is like, oh, here's this tee box, and then you got to throw over the electrical boxes, and then you got to watch out because there's these railings that protect the electrical boxes because it's next to a legit road. Also, there's a fence immediately to the right that's super tight. I understand like the tight peninsula fairway, but you can totally recreate that somewhere else with not electrical boxes.
In 2 to 3 years, the Pro Tour won't even be there anymore, so you'll be fine.
Well, no, that course this year was 10 ply soft.
You see that they might be adding a golf course to it. Yuck.
I think that's in the plans already for next year.
Yuck. Okay, to wrap it up.
But what do you guys think though? Are you guys like cool with like we're just gonna make Brazos East hole 15 a par 0 and just vote it off the island?
I haven't played it, so I don't really care about it.
It's fine. You've seen it. You've watched it.
I mean, just playing it. I mean, it is an extremely hard hole, and it is just a weird like visual grossness as you're walking up to the hole, and you're just like, oh, like there's just so many stupid things in the way that you're thinking about. And it's like a super tiny area to hit in the fairway. So I'm not on board with deleting it. I mean, maybe I would say yes, we can delete it off the Pro Tour. As much as I like the Waco course, we can take Waco off the Pro Tour.
Yeah, I'm cool with it.
All right, give us the rundown. What's our 18, Michael?
Right. So, I put them in order.
In no particular order.
Hole 18, Fox Run Meadows, a 775-foot par 4. Hole 5, Clover Cliff Ranch, 604 feet, par 4. Hole 8, Maple Hill, 320, par 3. Hole 2, Hornets Nest, specifically the FPO pad, 267, par 3. Hole 17 at Winthrop Arena, the infamous island hole, 249 feet, par 3. Hole 26 at Silver Creek, the lighthouse hole, 439-foot par 4. Hole 5, Winthrop Arena, 1,025-foot par 5. Hole 4, Idlewild, 722-foot par 4. Hole 2 at Palmetto Point, 543-foot par 4. Hole 10, not hole 10, hole 27 at Sandy Point, a 337-foot par 3. Hole 3 at Toboggan, 405-foot par 3. Hole 3, Black to Black at Rolling Ridge, 1,005-foot par 5. Hole 17, Bryant Lake, 549-foot par 4. Hole 8 at Glendoveer, 615-foot par 4. Hole 27, Top of the World shot at De La, par 3. Probably like a 400-foot shot, whatever. Hole 1, Blueberry at Highbridge Hills, 373-foot par 3. Hole 12, Northwood Black, that's what, 1057, I think, right? 1050, par 5. And hole 14 at the Hudson Mills Monster, 1,019-foot par 5. We have a lot of
guys. Our course is really long. But we're throwing everything from the top of a hill down to the bottom, so okay. You can just have it, and it's fine.
We will be putting out the distances and par of this course for you guys. If you ever want to play our Dream 18, boom, there it is. We'll put it out, and you can tell us how you played it.
There you go. All right, gentlemen, buy or sell. We'll wrap it up with this for tonight.
Let's get it.
My favorite segment. Before we get there,
I'll go first. Hold
on. Before we get there, I love how we say, we'll keep the episode shorter, and we're just about to cross the hour mark. But I feel like this is just going to be our running bit, which is fine by me. We just have a lot to say, but that's just our running bit.
I'll go first. Mine's a super simple one for this week. Hopefully, I won't get absolutely bodied like I had the last 2 weeks, but
take better takes.
We'll see. We'll see. But buy or sell, aces are good shots.
What does that even mean?
Are aces good shots?
Good. Of course they're good. You did everything that you're supposed to do. You threw it in and won.
Okay. I have.
Buy.
I'm so torn. I am gonna buy it, but like a beeline shot that, if the basket wasn't there, it's cruising past and maybe going like 100, 150 foot long. Then that's not a great shot. But if you're actually going for like a skip shot and you actually like hit it and you hit and you're actually going for it.
For me, I would
it's a good shot.
Yeah, and that's the thing is for me, I feel like about 75 to 80% of aces are complete accidents. Especially if you get it in a tournament, you can't tell me that you're going for an ace in a tournament shot. For me, and maybe it's just the way that I play, I'm playing for that birdie. So I'm playing for that either skip up to underneath the basket for the drop-in bird so I don't have to putt, or something along those lines where I'm never really going for an ace. If I'm going for an ace, it's probably a misrelease, or I am absolutely crushing a disc I shouldn't be.
Well, I'm buying just because, to get an ace, you got to have some luck. True. And to have some luck, you still have to be pretty good or decent.
I'm also buying the take.
Fair.
For fun. For funsies. Cool.
Still got bodied. Awesome.
Of course.
Wouldn't be an episode without it.
Keep it rolling.
All right, I'll take the next one. All right, Prodigy. Buy or sell this. Prodigy suing Gannon Burr.
Sell Prodigy.
No. Prodigy suing Gannon Burr over trying to leave his contract early will not be the last lawsuit from a manufacturer towards a player.
Bye.
Yeah, I think that's a buy for sure.
This is just set the precedent.
I think you'll see a lot more of them coming up now that like Prodigy got roasted for it, and then like, but I think you set the standard. Like you set the standard, even though Prodigy got roasted for it. Players know that if they step out of their contracts, there's kind of a little bit of like a, hey, no, it's not going to happen. You're not going to do it. You need to start honoring your
I'm just thinking
contracts.
along the lines of just like, is this going to be the step that is going to make both parties, the player and the manufacturer, have ironclad clauses in their contracts going forward? And I think that that would be enough of a reason. And the absolute mockery that came to Prodigy would be enough to sway any manufacturer to the negative side of not trying to file a lawsuit against a player under their contract.
Yeah. I think that you'll see it, in my opinion. I think that you'll see lawsuits come sooner, only because contracts aren't that ironclad right now. Whereas, because of this, you'll see future contracts be more ironclad because no one wants to get sued.
I also don't think that it's going to be the last time it happens. So everyone's buying.
No. All right. I'm going to say this, then you're going to give your take, and then I will explain why after. In 5 years, Silver Series events won't exist.
So
I am going to buy, only because I think that Silver Series will eventually become like your AM type tour. Like it's going to be like you're going to have to prove yourself on your silver events to get to the elite events.
My man. Yes, I think Silver Series is going to be like the Corn Ferry Tour, where this is how we determine who makes up like tour cards number X through X. That's why I baited him into selling it so we could body him.
Bodied.
Yes,
that's the only one this week.
I sold
my
this
thing is that right
pretenses.
now. Well,
the only reason I was hesitant. The only reason I was hesitant is, do we think it's 5 years? I think 5 years. I think it could possibly. I think it could be 5 years, and I'm buying it, and I'm hoping that it is, because I don't want to see Silver Series really get that much coverage. To be honest,
I'm okay with them getting coverage.
But I would like to see something like not like a development type thing, but I want to see the best of the best be a part of the elite tournaments.
Silver Series.
I don't want to see Joe Schmo.
Silver Series are just gonna continue to have their fields diluted, not by any of their own fault of like the event, but it's just like as the Pro Tour continues to build really good events and like these Elite Plus events, and the purses keep getting bigger, like for the actual Elite Series, like the fields on the Silver Series are gonna just keep getting diluted in terms of just like, our top 15 probably aren't going to be playing that many in 5 years. So I think the Silver Series is solely just going to be another tour that makes up the next half of the.
You're actually theory right already, because the Silver Series is gone. It's just a silver event now.
Yes.
Okay, semantics. Thanks. But I know that we don't do a lot of current events on here, and I won't necessarily allude to the exact situation, but we need our best players playing in the best events. We shouldn't have top players not being able to play a major or do stuff like that. It's got to be, go listen to Night Owls if you want to hear that debate. Okay. But we have to have the best players playing in our best
events. One thing that Night Owls didn't touch on that I was hoping that you guys would touch on was that James Conrad, a world champion and a USDGC champion, did not get in. Even though he got an invite, he did not get in.
Yeah, I didn't look at the list fully. But,
James Conrad,
he's not in there.
As a multi-time major winner, is not in the field. Silly.
I mean, that's just more. I think that's more to the fact of what we talked about last week,
Register.
where someone from the PDGA, if you're going to run the majors, you have to be doing something. You have to have somebody in charge of this stuff.
Make sure
you have to have
gets
like.
missed.
Seems like it's gonna be Doug.
I would just imagine like the top. Like, what if like one of the top golfers in the world was just like, whoop,
Sorry, Rory.
like missed the registration, whether it was on that player or on themselves, like, or on the governing body, like, you know, what? That would never happen. Like, it just makes a mockery, I feel like, of our, like, there shouldn't be anybody sub 1,000.
Well, the people who the AM world
there's an easy fix to that. There's an easy fix to that. Is that every major winner
automatically is in.
In the last 5 years, they do it just like Augusta, like for the Masters. Like, you go back X amount of years, and every major winner is automatically in, and then unless they just decline before whatever. Easy fix. Doug Bjerkis, if you're listening, do it like that, please.
Save them, please.
Little topic here, because the menu for the Masters dinner has come out for the players.
Is extremely
Scotty. Have you seen it, Matt? Okay. Well,
I don't even know what I'm going to eat. Why would I follow what other people eat?
Winner.
I eat Quick Trip for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
No free ads
for the players playing in the next Masters, and
it's just the champions, just the former champions.
Yeah. So, I pose this question to you guys to kind of wrap us up a little bit. What major would we do this with in disc golf?
USDGC
World.
I was also going to say USDGC.
I just don't.
USDGC is our Masters.
It's true.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like, if you win, you get a lifetime exemption. You have to qualify.
Yeah.
Lifetime invitation. Yeah.
I mean, I maybe it's just because I have some weird. I love some holes at USDGC, but I'm just not a huge USDGC fan. Like, I can't wait. Honestly, I can't.
We're just talking about the dinner. We're
right,
talking about the fun.
but you told me what tournament. Like,
Matt hates fun.
I don't respect. Yes, I hate fun, but I just don't.
He doesn't respect fun. He hates fun.
Relief, episode 3. Matt hates fun. We already figured it out.
Yeah, because if Matt won USDGC, he'd be having KT Spicy Chicken Sandos as his USDGC Champions dinner.
And specifically hotties
from that one place, because no free ads.
Hotties.
Well, that wraps up our show today.
Yeah,
folks.
That's a good segue.
So glad you joined us.
That's a good segue. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Be sure you rate us and hopefully just give us some fair love, because this one was this one was the most.
This was a rough one for us, boys.
We hope you enjoyed it. Next week, a little shout out. Fingers crossed, if it all works out, we'll have our first guest. Do some fun stuff for next week. But this has been Casual Relief, a Door Disc Golf podcast. Be sure to rate us, like us, do all that good stuff. We will catch you on the next one.
Later.